Hiya. If you found this video, you're probably trying to rewrap batteries, and I thought I'd just go through a few pointers, because the amount of people that think you need to replace batteries when you get a nick in your battery wrap is astonishing. When you can pick up two battery wraps, these are really thick battery wraps as well, so really robust and will take, catching the battery when you even drop them on the floor. Sometimes I've dropped a battery on the floor with these wraps on and not nicked the wrap, even on a concrete floor. However, you would always want to inspect it. If you ever drop a battery, always inspect your wraps. If you get a nick in the wrap like this, you can see it reflecting there. This camera won't focus because I'm doing it on an Android. That doesn't mean you need to replace the battery, you just need to replace the wrap, which is really easy to do. So I'll show you how to do it. There is other videos out there if you want to refer to someone else's as well. So the first thing to do, there's your positive pin to remove this wrap. You can do it if you can find something plastic if you're a bit unsure and you don't want to bridge the connection, because what's going to happen is that pin is your positive pin. The whole outside of the battery casing is your negative. So if you're sliding it in and out of a mod, and this makes a connection to some metal, and this nick in the wrap also makes a connection, you've completed the circuit, rather than waiting for the door to come up to here and connect to the negative casing on the bottom, which is where you get the videos that you spot where people are blowing themselves up, or not blowing themselves up, it's a bit extreme, but losing fingers even, and third-degree burns on the body. I know I've got a customer who's had it happen to him, and I'd say 90% of the time it's going to be something like this. You can have a fault in your mod or something like that. If it's a fault in the mod, it's hard to avoid, but the regulated mods have technology in there which can hopefully shut that off. If it's a nick in the wrap, it won't be able to, because your circuit is completed there, as opposed to going through the circuitry of the regulated mod. So the safety features in the mod won't have a chance to fix it. So removing the wrap, I've got some metal tweezers just to show you it is safe to do it this way. If you're going to use something metal, don't go in this positive end where you've got your white insulator, or different colours, sometimes black insulators. Go in the negative end. So you're not going to complete a circuit going into the negative end. You're just going to nick the wrap like that, and then it will peel off. You can put your metal tweezers down now while you're peeling it off, because you're exposing the battery. You'll know if you've got a nick in your wrap as well, because you sometimes get, you can see it looks like liquid up here, which it is because the juice is getting in with vapor and moisture in the air. When the battery warms up, moisture attracts to heat, which is why you get condensation on your bathroom windows. Bit of a physics lesson there, you can probably remember from school. So you want, when you take that wrap off, you want to keep this insulator if it's not damaged. If it's damaged, you'll replace it, and the ones that you replace with are typically sticky back. They're okay, the card, they're not as good as the plastic ones, because the card materials can soak up a bit of moisture anyway. Once you've got it off, I'm just going to use my jumper, rub it on my fat belly, just to make sure there's no condensation on there before we rewrap it. And then I'm going to get this battery wrap. It makes it a little easier if you just pop your finger in the battery wrap. Give it a good finger in. Get rid of that crease, and then it kind of sits open like that as opposed to flat. And when I heat it up, I'm going to heat it up down that crease. Slide your battery in, drop the insulator back on, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to fold this over and see where it's covering it, and it wants to cover at least half of the insulator. If there's plenty underneath, which there is, I'm going to push the battery down a bit more to about there. And then I'm going to put it on the dangerous way, most dangerous way. The safest way is a hairdryer, but it's got to be a hot hairdryer or a heat gun, because you don't want that heat on there for ages. If the hairdryer doesn't get hot, you're going to be heating the battery up for a while. But it's an insulator. It's going to stop the heat getting through to the metal somewhat. Most batteries have to get to 75, 80 C plus before they're going to go to thermal runaway. So hairdryer is pretty safe. I'm going to use a lighter and a flame because I'm not holding the flame anywhere near the wrap. Just to show you, this is how a lot of people will do it. And just to hopefully give you a bit of confidence that it is pretty safe. So I'm going to hold it quite far away, and you'll just see that crease has gone already. It's just disappeared, and you see it's curled over the edge. I'm going to rotate it round, do the same on the other crease. So you can see the flame's a fair way, in fact it's not, the heat isn't even getting it there. So you start off away and go nearer. Don't start near and go away, because you're setting fire to the wrap obviously. And then you just get the edges like that, rotate it round, hold it upside down, go like that, and then push it down on a flat surface, which you can't see. And what that does is, because it's, when you put the heat on, it's quite malleable. And then I'm just going to make sure the battery wrap's pushed up against it, and that's a really neat edge. That's why I prefer to use a lighter, because it's very quick. If you use a heat gun, that's also quick, but hair dryers sometimes they don't get enough heat through them. So you can see there, starting away, getting nearer, and there it goes. Now, there's no heat, that's not hot, can touch it straight away. It's not, don't be like this sort of thing. Heat that up a bit, back on the flat surface, and you just hold it on the flat surface and it cools down flat, so you've got no creases in. And there is a perfectly wrapped battery. Crease free, nice and tidy, good to go again. If any of that seems too daunting, or you're a bit scared to use a lighter or a hairdryer, or you know, removing a wrap, you think, I don't trust myself, you want to be near no metal objects, you don't want to be placing that down on a metal tin or anything like that, anything that you can complete that circuit of the battery on, because that's going to be dangerous. If there's any doubts whatsoever, come to a vape store like this and ask someone to do it for you, because people in the vape shops have done plenty, they've had a bit of training on doing it. But as you can see, it's quite straightforward, and if you're a bit savvy, then it's a, you know, easy way to make sure your battery wraps are maintained all the time. But nearly any vape shop will wrap you a battery free of charge, as long as you pay for the wraps. So there's no excuse to have rips in battery wraps. So make sure you keep them wrapped up. Stay safe. Latest taters.